Hey guys, welcome to another Monday Night Live. Well, I guess it's not Monday night, it's Thursday Night Live with Complete Developer Podcast.
Maybe we ought to call it something different.
Well, we'll just call it Whatever Night Live because we normally record on Monday nights, but somebody was sick this week and it wasn't me.
Yeah, I wasn't really like terribly sick. I was just sneezing. It was like every 3 or 4 minutes I would have just a sneezing fit. Like 5 or 6 sneezes in a row. Like, it was the point, like you get achy, like in your shoulders and down your arms from sneezing. I don't know if you've ever had that because the muscles tensing up. Like, I was hurting from sneezing so much.
I don't think I've ever sneezed so much that my shoulders and arms hurt.
It was awful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough, dude.
Yeah.
So
basically, like I came here and I got a little shot glass and filled it full of hot sauce through that back. And then took a shower and blew my nose the entire time.
College.
Yeah, like just flat out desperation. It was.
Oh yeah.
It was memorable.
So we are not drinking beer tonight. We have
apple juice. No, not really.
It's a drink that I learned about I'm watching old episodes of Psych, just binging the show, kind of 8 seasons. So over the course of the last few months, but. It's a Gabardine Hightail, which, if you're familiar with Scotch drinks, it's basically a rusty nail with agave syrup. And if you're not familiar with Scotch drinks, it's Scotch, Drambuie, which is a Scotch-based liqueur, and, agave syrup.
Yeah, we had a good friend that really liked Rusty Nails, although his mix we just were discussing before we got online was apparently different than the normal, which I didn't know. I didn't really care for them when he made them, although when Beej made them, they were pretty good. So now I know why. I didn't really ask before.
Yeah, I remember you telling your dad that I made a really mean Rusty Nail back when we were in college.
Yeah, Dad's like, why are you drinking that?
Yep.
That's like, we got a buddy that drinks Dead Nazis. And it's peppermint schnapps and Jägermeister.
He is not allowed to drink Dead Nazis.
Well, yeah, he's not allowed to anymore. But, he drank them for a while there and just really liked them a little too much. And so we finally banned him from that. And that's a pretty gross drink. Like, I had one of those, and I couldn't finish it.
I would not want one of those. I've tried some. So, anyways, this past weekend, I volunteered at the Ragin' Cajun Crawfish Boil. It's pretty much the largest crawfish boil here in Nashville. I originally signed up to...
It would help if I would drink my drink instead of breathing it.
Yeah, that usually
works better.
I originally signed up to help out with the boiling of the crawfish, but they already had that down and under control, so I ended up serving jambalaya and a few other things. And so it was pretty cool. It was all you can eat, all you could drink, plus I got a t-shirt for volunteering. I was going to wear that t-shirt tonight, but my new Preds jersey came in, and since it's Thursday night, let's go Predators! The Preds are playing tonight in the first game of the playoffs, so that's really awesome. Went to a Predators party over at Tailgate last week and won a hat. I don't have it with me. I realized I forgot to bring it, but super exciting, lots of fun, a lot of really cool stuff going on.
Yeah, so my update is I actually kind of took a break this weekend. I say kind of because I still worked most of the day Sunday. But I started kind of playing around a little bit. Played some They Are Billions, which is like a real-time strategy game. It's like a zombie apocalypse type scenario. I'm liking it. Got my butt kicked on the easiest setting, though. So like my real-time strategy muscles are a little bit atrophied. The other thing I've been doing is I've been playing with Vue.js, going through some stuff on that. I'm liking it as a possible successor to Knockout. I'm going to see where that goes. The other thing I wanted to mention is I have a data access framework that I am looking at possibly open sourcing. So just kind of want to hear some feedback from the audience. Is that a good idea? How do you go about doing some of that stuff?
So what he just said for the Periscope and YouTube watchers, sorry, I think you guys might have cut out there for a moment, is that You are...
I've got a data access framework that I built that I'm looking at open sourcing. Just kind of wanted to see if anybody in our audience has done that before and gone through all the steps, because I'm not overly familiar with exactly how to go about that. Most of the open source projects I've been on have been like they're already there, they got the license, they got all the crap set up. So just wondering if anybody had some tips for me.
So we as a podcast and as a network as a whole really are getting ready for Music City Tech. That is the big polyglot technology conference here in Nashville. It's actually combining Music City Code, Music City Agile, and the new Music City Data.
Right.
All into one big conference. It's going to be at Vanderbilt. A lot of fun. I'll be speaking at it. We will be recording 2 sessions.
Yeah,
there.
I'll be going to a lot of talks and managing, running the booth and doing all that kind of stuff. I did put in for some talks. They didn't get in, which is actually probably advantageous considering that if we both had that and we had, it would have been a little much.
Yeah. So, but we're excited about it. The Junior Developer Toolbox crew is going to be there with us.
Hanging out at the booth with me.
Oh, yeah. And I'll be at the booth in between talks and stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. If you've ever wondered what it's like to sit in on a podcast recording, come by and check it out. Otherwise, check out the conference. There's a lot of really cool stuff. I know one of your mentors who is...
David will be there.
Is a really great guy. He's going to be there.
A couple of my mentors are actually probably likely to attend.
Yeah. So check it out. You can get tickets. They're still early bird now. I think early bird are through the end of April. And that's completedeveloper.musiccitytech.com. So go there, check that out. Also, trying to think. Oh yeah, the dates of the conference are the end of May, so May 30th, 31st, and June 1st. Is that right?
I believe that's correct.
February, March, April, May. Yeah, there are 31 days in May. Y'all know the knuckle test, right? January, February, March, April, May. All your knuckles. So it's what? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. All the knuckles are 31 days.
Okay. I hadn't seen that one before.
I learned it when I taught preschool.
I've seen the whole Roman trick, like the way they count on the joints.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that too.
That's a weird one.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that that's still around in a few places, actually. It's a couple thousand years old, but whatever. So we got a listener question from an email. And the email was a bit longer than this, but we try to keep the show reasonably short. What is a tactful way of letting people from other teams know that I don't necessarily care about every small change that they make to my services? The developer had built a service, and then they got moved off of that onto another project. And what was happening is the people that took it over are coming back to them. Every little thing that changes, they pop back in and go, "Hey, is this okay?" And I think that I can give you the answer on how to tactfully go, "Hey, look, I have confidence in you," right? Like, that's easy. You go, "Hey, I have confidence in your ability to make a good decision. I'm not in charge of this project anymore." Clear it with management. Make sure you're not. But I would say that the tactful way of letting people from other teams know that you're not you're not in charge of this anymore. That's a sign of an organizational problem that you have to have this conversation. So the first thing I would do is I would check with management and make sure that it's understood that you're not, in charge of that anymore. Because they may have a different understanding than you do, in which case, if they understand differently, then now's the time to have a conversation about, okay, this is interrupting my regular workflow on the other stuff I'm doing.
Another thing that, another thing that you may take into account here is that a lot of times developers get very possessive of the things that they create.
Right.
And so these other developers that are coming to you asking to make changes, they're trying not to step on your toes. Right. They may think you have more going on with it, or they may be going, "Hey, I don't want to be that rude guy that just goes and makes the change." Also, there may be things like, if you developed your code right and you used commenting and documentation properly, then they should be able to go in there and understand what's going on and the changes they make. But they're probably used to that not happening, so they're coming to you to find out if there's anything they need to know.
Yeah, because a lot of developers won't look at the code base before they go, okay, can I make this change? They'll talk to another developer. Sometimes it can be representative of them not having confidence. Sometimes it can be management miscommunication. Sometimes it can be they're actually intimidated by the code. It can be a variety of things. This is a place to have a lot of tact. And the main thing here is to try to fix the organizational problems and or give these people the confidence to fix the things. Like they may just need a mentor. And they don't know how, they don't want to express it that way, but it's like, hey, like, okay, here's how I would fix this. And I get it. You're getting interrupted, during work hours while you're trying to get other things done.
It's frustrating.
It is, and I've been there. The way I try to handle this, and I handle this same way with support where I work now. Support used to pop in a lot with questions, and so I go to lunch with them most days. And that's when we talk about all that stuff, and that keeps that from happening during work hours, and it's usually pretty quick. And we all kind of share that information. So there's other ways to skin this particular cat other than just going, hey guys, I'm not in this anymore.
No, that's really true. So if you guys have any questions for us, leave them in the comments. We try to pay attention to those as we go along. We're still learning all this technology, so we're getting better and better with it. I'm flipping over and looking right now as I'm saying this. Yeah, leave us some questions in the comments. We'll get to those. If we don't get to them in this episode, I will and I do check those throughout the week. Usually we'll reply to them, or we will bring them up in the next live feed. So that's really cool. So guys, if you haven't heard about this, you have been really head deep in code, because that's the only thing. Mark Zuckerberg, head and creator of Facebook, has been testifying in front of Congress. Yeah.
The memes are great.
Yeah, they are.
There has been much memeing of...
Memeage. There's been great memeage.
That sounds like a dirty word from a kid's TV show. It's memeage.
That's why I used it.
I know. It's
I'm good with coming up with fake dirty words.
Yeah, it's just all the pictures really looked awkward. There've been some excellent photoshops. Really happy to see that the world community has embraced Zuckerberg as a target of their ire.
Well, you know what? From what I hear, or from what I've read, I should say, from the news that I have read on it, he has been really calm and held together. Like he was prepared for a lot of this.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy, let's be honest, right? He's been saying, and this was from an article I read, he's been saying sorry, not sorry in regards to privacy violations for 14 years. He ought to be pretty good at it. Mm-hmm. But it did it did kind of reveal some things. Just the way that this whole thing worked. I mean, we saw how ignorant Congress is. In terms of tech, it's not a thing of there was sides. It's sort of the Alien versus Predator principle was this whole thing.
Let me just put it this way: I don't want to. I'm trying not to be an ageist here, but there is a bit of technology has grown by leaps and bounds since most people in Congress were.
Yeah, well, even using just our age.
Yeah,
our age group uses keyboards and mice, right? And people 15 years younger than us, they're always on touch devices.
I use my phone for most things.
Yeah, well,
I have a younger spirit than him. What can I say? I don't know really, but
he's a younger spirit that prefers to drink older spirits.
I prefer scotch that's old enough to drink itself.
There you go. So yeah, Congress, they came across as pretty freaking ignorant. Mm-hmm. They didn't understand the tech. The big thing is what is Facebook doing as far as selling data? And they really missed a really salient point in that Facebook's buttons and their scripts are all over the web. And they could track you just about as well as your ISP, especially if you have an account. Yeah. They still track you even if you don't. and Congress didn't even touch on that. So it was kind of, it was one of those things that's like, is this staged, or y'all just this bad?
Yeah, I probably a little bit of both.
Well, he also donated to some large percentage of the people that were interrogated.
Well, there's that. The other thing, too, is think about this. Think about when the people who are experts at the current technology, the ones about 10 to 15 years younger than us, when they are the ones who are confused by technology, where will we be? That excites me.
Well, you and I'll be dead, but everybody.
I won't. I don't know about you. I won't.
That's that's just the way of it. But
I don't have kids. I'm not going to die early.
But you're a night owl. Night owls are statistically more likely to die early, according to something I read on Hacker News, which had a very small p-value. So there we go. We're just going to say that that's the way things are. There were 10 hours of testimony.
My dog had a small p-value. Man, that guy.
You realize you're on live? Okay. Just wanted to say that. So Congress really, really wants to regulate Facebook and Twitter, and basically, it's. I'm trying to. It's sort of like you got to look at Congress as being like a box of new Snap-on tools. Like you want to fix stuff with it. That's what they are. They're just there, and they have a purpose, and they go, if I'm not serving that purpose, I'm not doing anything, and their purpose is to regulate things. So that's what they want.
No, it's like someone's first time in management, because this is their first real reach into tech.
Yeah,
it's like someone's first time in management. They want to they micromanage, and they either overdo it or they do nothing, and it's a learning experience for them, but it sucks for anyone that doesn't know what's going on who's working under them.
Yeah,
because you're. And I've had this. This is why I like little bitty steps into management and not just throwing someone into management.
Yeah, you got to kind of ease them into it gradually. Like my first management experiences were not being eased into it gradually. In fact, I didn't know I was going to be managing until I was literally in a staff meeting when I was informed.
Yeah.
The first time that I was going to be managing people, and I'm like, don't you think maybe even 10 minutes of warning would have been fantastic. Didn't happen.
Some of the ideas that were floated around by Congress were requiring permissions to collect data.
Yeah. That's going to kill Facebook because their whole model is not asking for that. Their model is just slurping it up. Mm-hmm. That'll bankrupt the company if they do that. There were a lot of semi threats back and forth, I think, on a lot of that. But Zuckerberg did jump in on talking about how the GDPR regulation that came out of the European Union is going to kind of be their baseline. It was a good thing and all this. I've seen some stuff with GDPR. I'm a little dubious that this edition of it is so great. I think that the European Union people had the right idea as far as the problem. I don't think they had the right idea as far as the solution. There's just some funky things in there that are going to have to get ironed out. But
there's also a lot of stuff around Cambridge Analytica, which is kind of a mess all unto itself.
Yeah, and that got some attention. But Facebook has been selling data, right? Like I listen to marketing podcasts all the time, and they talk about how to optimize your sales funnel and using Facebook and all these things that you got to do, and all the pieces of data that are available, and how you make an audience that looks like the one you've already got. Which means you got all this data on these people, and you also can get all the data on these people. I don't see how this is going to work. But whatever, they're doing it. Zuckerberg's response also is that he is pushing for AI to solve problems around content.
Good luck with that.
Are you familiar with was it Tay Says? Microsoft rolled out this bot. Right? It's an AI bot that got on Twitter. And within, I think, 24 hours, it was basically just practically goose-stepping. It was like it went full fascist based on the input that people gave it. And so I'm like, you're going to train artificial intelligence on the population of Facebook, which on average is not naturally intelligent. And you think you're going to get something good out of that. Yeah, I'm not optimistic in regards to Facebook's ability to do this well.
So, moving on.
Yeah, since we quickly skipped the Reddit thing. Reddit had a redesign. Gmail's got a redesign coming up. From what I can tell, the Reddit redesign kind of sucks. We're getting, I hated it. Skip that. Gmail redesign is, hey, we really love material design. Hey, we really love touch interfaces. Screw you guys on computers. Bye. That's our summary.
All right. Well, I was just going to skip over that and save it for later.
I skipped it, give or take-ish.
You give
it 30 seconds or less.
So if you haven't already checked it out, check out our most recent episode, Understanding Technical Debt. Debt collectors are calling, leaving threatening voicemails and sending letters saying that they're going to take legal action soon. If you've never had this happen to you, you are lucky.
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah,
I'm cheap.
Few people have not, yeah. And it doesn't. The thing is, it doesn't take much.
Yeah,
like one missed payment because they forgot to send you the bill.
Yeah,
and you've got
especially with certain kinds of bills.
Yeah,
credit card bills and those kind of things.
Yeah, technical debt is the idea that there will be a cost in terms of more development work down the line for using certain solutions to problems that arise while you're developing. The whole idea is a metaphor comparing development to taking out financial debt. And technical debt can be used to predict the amount of work that refactoring your code will take. So in this episode, we use a couple of systems to break down technical debt. First, we talk about the types of debt, and then the sizes or how much debt you take on. Next, we discuss how technical debt accumulates, looking at each type with each size of debt. And then finally, we discuss paying off that technical debt.
So the episode that dropped today, we normally write this beforehand, so apologize for the weirdness on that.
Oh, that's right.
But the episode that dropped today was the 7-layer burrito of networking. This is based around the Open Systems Interconnection, or OSI, model.
The episode is actually called The 7 Layers of Networking.
Yeah.
But if you saw our social media post, I was just being a little goofy this morning.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's a 7-layer burrito. Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't give you too much gas, right? Too much digestive problems, but whatever. And this was developed by the International Standards Organization, that's ISO, if you're not familiar with them. I don't know how. In order to standardize communication functions. The goal is interoperability of different systems through a standard protocol. And the OSI model breaks down network communication into 3 upper and 4 lower layers. Each layer is a set of protocols for communicating to other devices at that level, also known as peers. And what the layers do is they do a specific job and then pass the data to the next layer up or down depending on the direction of the flow. The lower layers are concerned with moving data around, whereas the upper layers are concerned with how the data is used by an application. And so we kind of get into how that whole stuff fits together, just so people can understand what's going on the network instead of it being a kind of a meaningless black box. And so we're going to kind of go through and we start at the bottom and work our way up through the levels, explaining what they do. And for each level, we discuss what the protocols at that layer define, and we kind of provide some other associated definitions so you can keep the pieces together in your head a little bit better. This is really, really a light introduction to the topic of networking. And
it's still a very heavy episode.
Yeah, and I had a course. I had a semester-long course on this, and that course was a light introduction as well. Mm-hmm. There's a lot there. You're getting to the level of electromagnetic physics and material science, and then you go all the way up to application layer, networking. So yeah, there's just a lot there. And these are kind of difficult concepts, and so we just wanted to give you a beginning place for this so that you could begin to understand it, and then we might get into some more later.
Yeah, it's a really interesting episode, so check it out. Guys, we're going to hop off here and record another interesting episode.
As soon as I yell at my dogs to quit barking.
They can't hear it.
Oh, they can't?
No.
Wow. All right, well, we can hear it.
Yeah. All right, guys. We will catch y'all later. Look for us on Monday for our next Facebook Live.